Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bluhdhaven podcast, episode number 72. As always, I'm your host, Balfour and today I'm joined with...
Buddy.
So a few announcements before we start. As always, I want to thank everyone who joined us for Munchkin Monday last night. We got to play a new version of Munchkin, and it was a lot of fun. Got a lot of interesting actions from the audience that really turned the game around for a lot of the players. So that was a lot of fun. If you guys have not yet, please join us every Monday at 7 p.m. on our Twitch channel to check that out. And speaking of which, next Monday is going to be a little different. We're actually not going to be playing Munchkin next Monday. We are going to be playing through Who Goes There live on stream. It is a board game that is based off of the book of the same name. For those who may know the story, it is the story of The Thing. If you've ever watched John Carpenter's version of The Thing from the 80s, it's based off of that story. So it's all about collaboration, trying to survive, as well as stay away from the thing. So we're going to be playing that next Monday. So if you guys are interested, make sure to tune into our Twitch channel for that. On Thursday, Buddy is going to continue his stream of Death Stranding, starting at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's been a lot of fun to pop in and check out. That game is so weird.
It is very fucking weird.
It's essentially like Delivery Boy 2.0.
Yeah.
Like
with like a hint of just Kojima's demented mind.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't know if you were there for that, for the whole, like, I'm going to go see what BB's doing. All of a sudden, he just is like, okay, this is a nice little interaction. Why is he breaking the glass? Why is he breaking the glass? Why is it? And we're awake.
What's happening? Yeah, no, it's a very strange game, but it's super interesting, though.
It is.
So if you guys are interested, make sure to go check that out on Thursday. And then this Friday, I will be streaming League of Legends from 10 a.m. to about 3:30. We're actually going to LA this weekend. So, yeah, we need to get away. And because we're fully vaccinated, we can begin to do things, but in a safe way. But there's also a new episode of Villainous that is out on our website today. It's up there right now. If you go to the front page of Bluhdhaven.com, you'll see the new video. For those who watch it on YouTube, it'll be up on YouTube next week. And then there's going to be 2 new videos coming out next week as well. So keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, we're just going to jump into the podcast. You and I were talking beforehand. You got a bruise. How? Where?
Yeah,
What? Tell us about this bruise.
I don't know if it'll still be there, but I'll see if I can show you a little bit. So a friend of mine came in because it's like right here, I think.
Oh my God! Can you show that to the camera? Holy crap!
Yeah. So we went out towards Dog Patch and like just had fun, just with a bunch of other people, and we were doing American things by shooting guns. So that's supposed to be where that came from.
Ow! So like, was it like a rifle that you had?
I had a rifle I was using, and I had a shotgun as well. Speaking of also a shotgun, it's also fucked up my thumb.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was a good day, but that hurt a lot.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So what kind of rifle were you guys shooting?
It was just like a hunting rifle that shot 300 Win Mag, just a big fucking round like that. That thing kicked like a mule. Oh,
holy crap!
God, it
explains the bruise.
It hurt so much, but it felt so good.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Yeah,
I've only gone shooting twice. The first time I did it, we shot blanks on the military base. It was like Marine Family Day, and I was able to shoot like this mounted like auto rifle.
Oh, okay,
which was wild. And then when B's dad came to town, we got to shoot his. It was a 9mm that converted to a 45.
Oh my God! All right, cool.
As well as a AR-15.
Okay,
I think it looked like an M16.
Yeah, it's more than likely probably an AR.
I don't know anything about guns.
Yeah, that's usually how they run.
And I mean, like, shooting is interesting. I get why people like it so much.
Yeah.
So like it's God, dude, that bruise. That's wild. That's just from shooting.
Yeah,
like,
it's just from shooting.
Was there a specific shot where you're like, oh, that got me?
There was one we were trying to figure out we were shooting a shotgun that had different loads in it. Of course we had buckshot, but we had like these green shells. We didn't know what they were at first. So it's like, oh, we'll go ahead and use them. And then my friend made a joke of like, if it blows up in front of you, I'm just gonna stay back here. I was like, that's fine, I'll deal with this. So what it was, it's like a turkey shot. So it was just like basically 2 big shots inside the shell, so it doesn't really like have spread.
So instead of it like bursting out, it goes like.
Yeah, it was just like more of a bigger load. But,
interesting.
So instead of it just being like a widespread, it still stayed together.
Whoa.
So when I fired the first one, I was like, oh, yep, nope, I'm going to feel that one. And I still went for the second one.
You're like, poof, ow, fuck it.
Exactly. It's exactly how it went. You just got to roll with it.
That's awesome. So how many different types of guns did you guys?
We had the 300 Win Mag. We had someone used a 40 Smith & Wesson, which was just a semi-automatic pistol. Someone had a 22 pistol. 2 different variants of shotguns. One was like the full stock. The other one was like I call it a sawed-off, but they market it like that. It had like the stock, made it look like you could just grip it, like if you were going to use it as
so
a
it's
bat.
like kind of small, like it's like which sawed-off shotguns are in video games.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that was the one that bit my finger.
Oh man.
It had
so how did that happen? Because was it?
And so of course you can't hold it like that, so you have to like at least keep a good grip on it, and it had a rail to at least keep shells on the side, so you can like just do the whole like.
Oh yeah, reload. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't grip the pump very well, and so when I fired that first shot, my hand just immediately went forward into the railing.
Oh,
and I was like, I feel that, but this is also too fun.
I'm having too much fun with this.
And then an AR-15, which that thing is so beautiful.
What's because I found it interesting because I'm someone who I don't care for guns. I get why people like guns.
No, it's just for you. It's not for you.
Yeah, like I'm just like whatever. It's
not your cup of tea.
But when we were shooting with B's dad, like I found out that I can shoot pretty damn accurately from pretty damn far. Damn. Like I was hitting bullseyes at 25 feet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You fucking.
And so I'm like, okay, I think that's why it was fun for me because I was like, I want to see how good I really am because with bow and arrows, I'm pretty good as well. So I really wanted to like test like how good is my shot. And I always see stuff online or like people always complaining like, God, I wish I was a better shot. And I'm like, but why is it hard?
Yeah, it's just
and also it's like trying to figure out the gun too. That's something that I learned like doing the well, even like specifically with the 9mm, like the 9 to the 45 drastically different because like you have the recoil and like you
so much
really
power
have
going
to
down range.
Yeah, like you have to like slightly tilt your hand forward for the 45, whereas like the 9 like you can relax
just
a little
keep
bit.
Yeah.
Because like with the 9, it was like.
The 45, you just
the 45
muzzle
like,
flash and just
like with the 45, I like slightly point it down, like not like down.
Yeah, but just like a slight
enough.
Tilt, yeah,
like enough tilt that way. Like when I had the recoil, I still had control with it. That was wild. We actually kept the bullseyes because we went to a range.
Yeah,
so we like kept the bullseyes and everything in our book. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. If you guys have never gone shooting before, I recommend it. Go with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yes, please. Please.
Yeah, go with someone who understands gun safety and everything like that.
Or just go to a range and see if they have classes. 9 times out of 10, they more than like new people coming in like, hey, I want to test this out. And, of course you have to pay for it, obviously. But it's just like if you want to learn and
so
for someone, the safe way.
For someone who doesn't know anything about that, right? Because I went with someone who already had guns and bullets and stuff like that. Could you just go to a range and like, do they have available like guns and bullets for you to use? Or is that like...
It depends on the range itself. There's some where it's like you can rent a weapon, but they only give you a certain amount of ammunition for it. And of course you have to keep paying for it.
Right.
Which is how they get you, obviously. But it just varies on range. Sometimes they may have a little selection for you to use. Like most like ranges in town anyways are only up to pistols at best. So they would have at least a small variety of like 9mm, 45s. Then I think I saw one that was like a 10mm at one point.
Damn.
But that was just like, it was more for display purposes. So it was just one of those things like you could, but we're not going to.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting experience.
It is.
Like I do think, again, as someone who doesn't care for it, I do think it is something that everyone should learn
Mm-hmm.
just to understand, like,
At least have an understanding, yeah.
yeah, like how things work and how it operates and stuff like that. Like for me, I had no idea that, like you can change the top of a hand, like essentially the top of a gun.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like a gun is like the handle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the projectile that actually like shoots whatever. But you have the attachment on top that changes the caliber, if that's correct. God, I hope I'm right.
I think you're talking about like he changed out the slide or something to make it, or did something inside to where it switches from a 9mm to a 45. I see what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So you have the handle, and then he takes the top off, which has the barrel.
Yep.
And then you switch it out for a bigger caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that was a thing. Like I legit thought that guns like were just not necessarily like all in one, because I've seen movies where like they take the gun apart and like they clean each part.
Of course.
But I personally thought that it was like those parts only go to that gun. You know what I mean? Like it's not interchangeable with other stuff. Did not know that that's actually a thing. So you're always learning something new when you experience something.
Eagles are like that too.
What are
Desert eagles?
the massive ones?
They can switch too. They don't. There's like since like most of the only thing you're pulling back is just that one bit. The barrel still stays. So what it is you can just take that part out usually and switch it to like have it shoot a 44 mag or shoot through 57 just because you just changed the barrel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wild. Huh. Yeah, I have no idea how it works, but makes sense now that I've seen it once before.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if I was gonna have any gun just to display,
yeah,
I've always liked the Desert Eagle because it looks badass.
Yeah,
it looks like a monster.
Yeah, no.
Because what kind of caliber is
50 AE? It's like a very big fucking round.
It's like a sniper rifle shot, right? Because don't you have like a 50 cal?
Yeah, it's
rifle?
a 50 cal for the pistols usually. They call it 50 Action Express, and then of course with the one that everyone knows, the Barrett 50 BMG. But it's roughly still the same.
I know that because of Call of Duty.
No, yeah.
I used to rock the Barrett 50 cal in Call of Duty 4, baby.
Oh my god, you're one of those people. I already ate.
Not a fan of bolt action, sorry.
No, it's understandable. You want something quick and fast, you go with a semi-auto. You're gonna panic a lot.
Well, that's really cool. Like, so I'm like, I don't think we've ever actually talked because like we always joke that you're like the military like armory dude, right?
Yeah.
But like, so what got you into that? Like, what was like your peak interest of being like, I'm gonna look more into this stuff?
I think it was just more the fact that I was surrounded by vets my entire fucking life. I used to anyways. Did community service for a local VFW.
Really?
Yeah. So at the time I was still pretty young, so I couldn't really do much. But it was just like my parents did work there, like worked the kitchen because they did bingo there. So it was just like they just made food, and whoever wanted it, of course, like they paid for it that way, and or did like sometimes they do events. Like my dad would help run behind the bar for my grandmother, and everything, and. When I got older, of course, it just became a thing.
I never knew that you did that. For those who don't know, VFW is
Veterans of Foreign Wars. Basically it's not a club. It sounds bad, but it's
like a community.
It's a community thing for a lot of veterans to go to. Usually, like the one I had to was more specifically to, and this sounds bad, but it was more for like in the area, and it was for Hispanics.
Oh yeah, are you talking about the one that's off of
Drexel and Fontana?
Yeah. The
one that burnt down.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I did some stuff there, and it was always
right, because
nice.
you used to do DJ stuff with your dad, right?
A little bit, not a lot.
No, I just now that I'm like recalling, like when we were in school together, like you would say that you had to do some stuff with your parents, and I never like
clicked.
Never connected the two.
Yeah,
that's wild. So what else did you guys do there?
It was mostly just working the kitchen. I had my grandfather was the commander of the post. Usually, just like he kept in charge of most of the stuff. And every now and then, when he would be done, he would take me to the Air Force Base and just let me roam the PX.
Cool,
which was fun.
PX is
basically the store for a lot of.
What's it called? It's called.
I don't remember. I know it's the PX. That's all I know. I know it is.
Oh my god.
You have to look it up real quick, but
give me a
yes. There's a funny thing about that. So, at least for the Air Force Base, if someone brings a visitor and they're under the age of 18,
post exchange,
you don't necessarily need to have a visitor's pass. At least then you did not need to have a visitor's pass if you're under 18.
Really?
Yeah. I would go in with my grandfather just like when I was like 14, 15, and they just looked at me and was like, okay, you're good. And then, but when, of course, still at 14, 15 years old, I used to look like I was about 18.
Yeah.
So then there was one day, and so the thing was like, so I need you to have your school bag in front of you to make it look like you're just got out of school. It's like, all right, no, that's fair. Because one time we did have to go back. We had to go and get signed up, and my grandfather went to the front. And the guy in front goes, how old is he? 15? Looks over. That boy over there is 15. Yes. The hell you been feeding him? It's like, damn, all right.
Army dudes.
And then he's just like, nah. He just goes, no, you're good. You just take him in. Just like, show him this pass and you're fine. I was like, cool. And then ever since then, I just need
That's
to show
wild. I've been on base maybe 3 or 4 times. It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's really weird. Like, really weird. It feels very... I'm not bashing anybody who's part of the military. It's just, it feels like a cult. Like, you have independent streets.
Well, to be fair, it is the Air Force. So to the Air Force, and I'm sorry to say this, it technically is a cult.
It's really creepy. Like,
no, it is.
Like, if you think... Like when I first went on there, I really thought of like Edward Scissorhands and like how like the entire city is like very much like we have an aesthetic here. Everything needs to be a certain way. That's the way it was
basically,
on base.
They had their own homeowners association.
Yeah. No, it was interesting because like everything is nicely kept, obviously because it's the military. Yeah. But it's like scary. Like they're gonna steal a kidney. Clean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
and it's funny because I remember since my grandfather was Army, his thing was at Fort Huachuca, all the way out there in Arizona.
Okay, yeah.
And so we just like, you know what? I woke up. He had my cell phone at the time. It was like 7 or 8, and he goes, "You want to go take a road trip with me?" Sure, that's fine. I mean, we planned it ahead, but it was just more like it was never solidified until he called me. So
yeah,
like, shit, I gotta get dressed.
You're like, fuck.
I got ready, and then because when you mentioned it was a cult, when he went there after so many years, he goes, "This feels like a fucking prison. Just so many like buildings that make no sense." And he's just like, "Oh, all right, I believe you. I've never been on fucking this part of this." And so it was just kind of nice hearing him go off of that a little bit. He's like, "This looks like a fucking prison."
Give me 1 chicken.
1 chicken?
No, I mean like like what he said about like the buildings that make no sense.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it is. Like there's certain buildings on base where you're just like, why the fuck is this here? Like it's more like the structure of it is weird. Like the location is weird, but also like it'll be at least here in Tucson, it's like community center for children, like, and it's like a specific age, but like it's always empty.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's never a car there ever.
Yeah, I've seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about too. Yeah. And that's really all that got me into it was just the fact of I was surrounded by vets most of my life, and hearing sometimes them talk about certain stuff was just was interesting.
Like their own personal experience?
To an extent, yeah, because, you know, with certain things, of course, they don't talk about certain things, but they'll say, like, you know, they'll have, like, certain things like what they did during basic or, you know, and stuff like that. Or, like, the friendships they've made over the years and stuff. So it's like, that's cool. And so I started getting more into it, and it also didn't help that I was a very big, like, Second World War fanatic, we'll call it, because it's just like I looked heavily into that for the most part. So anything usually revolving around that, whether it be vehicles, aircraft, fucking weaponry, or even the divisions for that matter, I tend to be the one that people go to, and I'm always just like, oh, I did this to myself. I had no one else to fucking
It is true.
blame.
You found your hobby and your love.
No, I did. And then just rolled with it.
Which is actually really cool because a lot of people don't get that opportunity to really find out things that they're super interested in until later on in life. Like, I know people in high school that were still trying to figure that shit out. So like it's really cool that you're able to be exposed to that, but two, really able to find something that you can grasp onto. I know, like, again, even for me, I don't like war, I don't like the idea of military. That's just my own personal thing. But you know, my family is like a Marine family. Like we have multiple Marines in our family, and we have people who went to the Army. So I grew up around all of that. The stories that people have who have experienced war is so interesting, scary, and really grounds you as an individual. Yeah. Because you really realize what some people truly had to deal with to get to the point where we did. Like, I love talking to my tata about his time in Vietnam. Yeah, because one, that was also a war that they didn't choose to go to.
No, they didn't.
They were forced to go out there, which is fucking terrifying. And I'm happy that we live in a time now where that would never happen. I mean, like, if like the worst came to the worst of the world, then it would. But like, we have written into law, like
there's a draft will only be.
It'll happen under specific circumstances, but nothing like it happened with Vietnam. And it sucks because there's so many stories and so many lives that were lost during that war that you can tell when people who went through it has traumatized them to no end.
Like, there's one example. This is kind of a funny thing to an extent, but I knew he was serious when he. I don't know if it was like he was on leave or if he got out. It was back in the States where they still had the thing of, at that time anyways, there were still certain areas that did the whole whites only and all this other stuff.
Segregational stuff.
Segregational stuff. And he's like, and there was one, and because he always likes to make this joke, and I don't know how, to me, I thought it's not funny, but at the time, he made it funny. Since he is Mexican. And it became a thing of like, I don't know which one to go to, so I don't know if I should go on the whites or use the bushes. I was like, dude, why? Oh, and I felt so bad for laughing. Or like the whole thing with the stories. Like, he had a thing of shrapnel about that big. He had it painted and everything. It's in his house, and I asked him about it. He goes, "That almost killed me." Like, huh?
Holy shit.
I was like, yeah. He didn't go too much into detail, but I was like, something exploded. And it hit the sandbags near his face, and it was that fucking thing. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, see, those stories are wild because my tata has something very similar to that. He was a driver.
Oh fuck!
For like moving, really important stuff. Yeah. So like he would be driving like these giant trucks and stuff like that. While he was driving, a rocket hit his trailer.
Oh fuck!
And I'm like, and it's crazy because now he just talks about it so casually. Yeah, he's like. Yeah, you know, like back in Vietnam, you know, I was just driving and
this thing just fucking hit my truck.
Yeah, like the rocket like knocked the trailer off. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah. And then, you know, we just kept driving and made it to the base. And I'm like, how do you just casually talk about that?
I think that's also, I guess, what you can say is most of the drawback when it comes to combat or just war in general is just anything that we as civilians we think is just like holy shit, to them is just like it's a fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, like it's that, and also it's like you don't have time to really care about, like, you don't have time to care about the fact that a rocket just hit your trailer.
Yeah, it's like I gotta get this shit going,
because now you're just like, there's a rocket that hits the trailer, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Or another one was when I forget where he was specifically, but there was a specific outpost that he was at. They were firing rockets above them. And there was this one guy just like hopped up, taking pictures of the rockets as they're going by. And his CEO was like, make sure to bring that son of a bitch down before anything else happens. And he said, and I quote, inserts era slur here, we'll get to him before I will. It's like, oh, fuck.
Damn. Yeah, it's very interesting because I know a lot of us learned it in school and stuff, but there's so much that is not documented in textbooks and stuff like that, which is why, and I think that's why also at a younger age, I've always enjoyed talking to an older generation. You know, I get very frustrated with them some of the times because of their backward ass thoughts of how the world needs to be, but they do have fantastic wisdom to share. They have amazing insight to the reason why they think certain things. And you know, like for the people who did grow up at that time, you had to realize, not many women went off to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
It was primarily men.
Mm-hmm.
So women had a very different adulthood during that time, which is why you see a lot of the older generation being like, well, you're a woman, you need to help out around the house and blah, 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 because they were forced to be stuck there at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of my friends who have parents that are like this, where they're like, you're a woman, you need to have your womanly duties. But it's only because they didn't get the chance to live a different life. Yeah. And now our generation has that opportunity, which is really, really cool. So for those who are our age, really listen to your elders, listen to their stories.
Because if it is I don't mean to cut you off. No, it became a thing. It's the thing of if ever at any point in time, if you, let's say you have a very stubborn and grumpy grandmother or grandma, right? And there's just one day, and you're not necessarily sick of them, but it's just when they get on your nerves. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell you can deny that. But if ever comes a point in time where they tell you a story or they just want to talk, just don't brush it off. Just sit there and just be all right, cool.
That is the most important, because and like you said, everyone deals with this where sure, the older generation gets annoying when they're talking gibberish or what we perceive to be as gibberish. No. But when they finally sit down with you and just talk with you, and I know the audience knows what I'm talking about. When they just sit down and actually talk to you as an adult, listen to what they're saying, because you will view it very differently than your previous conversations. Mm-hmm. I know for me growing up, I always saw my tata as this very stern, you went to the army, he's gonna smack you if you're being dumb.
Yeah.
But as an adult and being able to talk to him about real problems, I finally realized how much knowledge this dude has. It's because he's a civil engineer. So first of all, he's stupidly smart.
Yeah.
But secondly, he just has a lot of insight of the way certain things work. And especially as a minority, he's had to deal with so much shit throughout his life. So it's really taking into account their personal experiences. That way you don't make the same mistake.
Yeah.
I guess it's just in general, just don't make the same mistake they have. And that's part of the way of growing up with your parents as well. It's I know it's frustrating as a teenager when your parents are don't do this. You're going to regret this. This is stupid. And we go do that stupid thing anyway. And then we learn the lesson afterwards.
I remember there was two things of wisdom that I remember I stick with the most from my grandfather was, don't believe anything that you see and only half of what you hear. And it's okay, that's understandable. And another one was just, I forget the last bit. I think this one was just more fun. I was don't say you're sorry. Don't say sorry. Just don't do it again.
Yep. Because that goes to the thing of actions speak louder than words type of thing. And, for me, those are actually two really good things. One thing for me that I learned super young, and it was repeated a lot when I was younger, not to me, but to people in general. Mm-hmm. It was a man is only as true as his word. So it's if you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, then your word diminishes. From there on out, no one's going to take you for your word. Yeah. Everyone's only going to know you as a flake, someone who cannot be reliable. So I took that to heart. So whenever I say I'm going to do something, even if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it because I don't want to be that person who says one thing and then, backs out last minute or makes it a consistent thing. With our productions, there's always something that happens. And I know I get frustrated when someone cancels an announcement, but I understand that happens. And that is something different than being I'll show up to this party. Never shows up. Never calls, never says anything.
No word of whether or not they will show or not.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just take into the lessons from the older generation. Because, again, we understand that they lived in a different time and their lives are different, but their experiences can really change the way you look at certain situations. So shout out to the old people.
I was gonna do something. I'll do it after.
You should have done it.
No, I'm good.
Well, now I'm putting you on the spot.
Shout out to the boomers.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
boomer generation.
I'm not sorry.
It's all right. I mean, like it's interesting because
No, it is.
I think that's something that our generation and Gen Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tend to forget is like because now that we're out of high school and a lot of Gen Zs are coming out of high school, like we briefly go over war, but really don't
truly
understand the shit that went down.
Yeah.
And by the way, that only happened like 60 years ago.
Yeah.
60, 55?
Roughly.
Yeah. Like,
it ended in 75. So roughly in 75.
So 30, 50 years. Yeah, we're coming up in 50 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, just think about that. Like 50 years is not a long time ago. Like there's so much stuff that has happened in a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things that like we really need to be
if anything,
cognitive
I think the only quote unquote like war the younger generation will understand is like Afghanistan, Iraqi freedom, and all that.
The Afghan war,
maybe a little bit of Desert Storm, but just like stuff. Like
I don't even think because I don't even think majority of our generation remembers.
No. Yeah, I know I don't.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, there's so many things that even our generation just is so blinded by.
Mm-hmm.
The Afghan war is definitely something that I remember.
Yeah,
and it's so weird because like I think it's a generational thing. Like every generation has a war that they remember.
That is true.
Which sucks.
No, that's
true.
That is true.
Because the Afghan war lasted from.
Well, if you want to get technical, the whole thing with fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan probably the longest war the U.S. has ever been in.
Yeah, because it was from like 2000.
A little bit.
Was it before that?
Well, again, just the whole like the Middle Eastern war, we'll call it, and I'm pretty sure people can either just
someone who's smarter than us
fact check me.
Yeah, someone who's smarter than us will
can go almost as far back as like the late 90s.
Yeah,
again, Desert Storm, Iraqi freedom, and all that. That's roughly late.
Yeah,
90s,
so I mean that's like it's like 90. So we'll say for argument's sake like 98, right?
Yeah,
98 until
2013. No,
14,
roughly.
Because we started pulling people out.
We'll say 98 to like the 2010s.
Yeah, damn, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that's wild. But yeah, I mean, like it's just. I guess what our point is just like, as younger generations,
don't eat fucking Tide Pods,
dude. For fucking real, like, oh my god, can we talk about that for a second,
please? Let's just go on that real quick. It's a somewhat lighter topic of the fact of like, I'm sorry to an extent. I'm considered a Zoomer, and the fact that I have to be remembered as the generation who fucking ate Tide Pods.
Yeah, what the fuck, like. This is like, there's certain things where, like, I will agree with the older generation, and this is one of the things that the older generation got right. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, don't get me wrong, we did shit that was stupid, but we didn't put it online. No,
like, well, we could because cell phones weren't as.
That is true. If we wanted to upload something when we were kids, it had to be at like 620 by 4. What was it? 620 by 480? 620 by 480. Yeah. But no, because we're not stupid enough to be like, hey guys, go do the stupid thing.
Handheld camcorder.
Oh my god. Like, no, I mean, it's so frustrating. And like, I had TikTok for a while, and like I have it on my phone, but I don't actively use it. But what's frustrating for me is like the content on there is two things, right? You have the overdub of everyone else's content, whether it's movies or television shows or whatever, or every single teenage girl on there is in like Nike, like a Nike outfit, right?
Yeah.
Outfit, by the way, is like sports bra and booty shorts, bouncing their ass on TikTok. Like, what the actual fuck?
The irony about TikTok too is like you want to do stuff that involves blades, weapons, or or just something that would be downright violent. Oh, they'll take it in an instant. But what he just mentioned, oh no, that's everywhere.
Yeah, like the sexual content on there is so frustrating, and it actually goes back to like my conversation about Twitch, like why Twitch really pisses me off with their terms of service and stuff like that, because there are so many creators out there that are exploiting their, and I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this. I don't think it's right for the female content creators to exploit their sexuality to a certain extent that a lot of them are doing, because it hurts the platform overall. I'm not saying that it's bad to exploit your sexuality. I'm not.
It's more so just for a monetary value, such as Twitch, I guess you could say. No,
Well,
even that
well,
sounds
it's
bad.
not. Yeah, it's not that. What I'm trying to get at is like, you'll have amazing content creators. I know a lot of amazing content creators on the platform who are not getting the consecutive viewership because they're not showing off their skin. I personally also know a lot of newer creators who started with nothing, but as soon as they started showing something off, they exploded. I find that very disingenuous to the platform.
Okay.
And that's my problem with it. I don't have a problem with them making content. I want people to make content. I want people to make really fun streams. What I don't want is I don't want a lot of female streamers to feel the need to have to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is part of the problem. I personally feel like if there are more female streamers exploiting their sexuality, then newer female streamers are going to feel the need to do that as well. I don't feel like that's right. And I know as a man, I have no right to really commentate about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion.
That's just a gripe.
Yeah. And I really wish that the platform as a whole could just really kind of empower everybody in a more positive way and not exploit the sexual tension that is online.
Yeah.
And like, it's like that dude who tried to sue Twitch for like his sex addiction, right? Remember there's an article a few months ago.
Oh,
it was like he was trying to sue a streamer because of her cleavage, and like he got like a blood clot because he couldn't leave the stream because of the suggestive material.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
Which that whole thing like went out the door. But you know, I'm not trying to defend the guy, right? But I am saying that the sexually implied content is kind of what the problem is on the platform. Because there's a place for that type of content. Yes. Go to Pornhub. Go to all the various different porn sites, you know, for the sexually explicit content. Go for it. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop talking about this. 'Cause, like, I'm just getting annoyed at this point. It's
also digging a very deep hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Twitch is fun. If you're a streamer, stream everything that you want. Build up your community. Yada yada yada.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I look forward to my DMs this week.
Yeah. Oh God, we're going.
Which, by the way, if you guys want to DM any one of us, we do have our social medias. You guys can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you guys have any comments or suggestions about our content, feel free to reach out to us there. I run them all. So I'll make sure to read your comments.
Or if you just want to bite our heads off, that's cool too.
Yeah, by all means, I love criticism.
Oh, he does. No, he does, because he's the only biggest critic of himself the entire fucking time.
This is true. So if you're telling me something, then I'm going to be like, yes, you are.
I already told myself that 3 times this week.
No, but I also think it's good for us because I think one of the scary things too about publishing anything online is that initial critique. You know, like putting your voice out online, you are putting yourself in a position for people to respond to you. And that's something that I've always been okay with because I love open dialogue. I love to have conversations about anything.
Yeah.
And if you have an opposing view, then I would love to discuss it in a civil way. But if you're going to come at me and just call me like a piece of shit, then that comment I'm not really going to take, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. Because I'm like, okay, but
this was going to happen.
Yeah, like that's perfectly fine for you to say that, but like, what are you doing?
Just to me, but I know that I'd just be feeding into them. My thing would just be like, come at me, scrub lord, I'm ripped.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. It's weird because like I've never been able to like really troll online. Like, Fernando.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
Fernando's a fucking troll. I've never personally understood the like excitement.
Appeal?
Yeah, like to be like, I'm gonna push this guy's buttons and I'm gonna do something stupid just to piss him off. Even though it's gonna make me look stupid, I'm still gonna do it just to make him angry. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But I guess you can say that it's the complete opposite of the sensation I feel when I make someone happy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I guess that's the comparison, but I still don't understand it. Because I've been on the internet for a long time, like the Diablo times. When you go into like a big server. Woof. And actually, I just jumped back into League of Legends, and my God, I don't miss the dialogue there.
I just don't like it there either.
What is one of the most toxic communities you've ever been part of?
Oh my fucking God. That's oh boy. I don't know if I really can have like a thing on that, for the fact of there's probably another just as toxic community out there, or it's gonna be one of those things of like, oh, if you think this is toxic, you shouldn't go to this or shouldn't do that. And it's like, what is this, fucking Reddit?
Yeah, let's say fuck. There's no comparison. I just want to know what's the most toxic community you've been part of.
I think it was probably the Battlefield community.
Oh God!
When I was still playing on a PS3, playing, I think it was Battlefield 3 or 4, one of the things. We were on this one server, and it was just like. What was it? It was a search and destroy. You couldn't start planting unless like there's a certain amount of tickets your guys had left, or so it was just a matter of just like you just shoot people. It's like, yeah, that's fun, but what's the point of having it search and destroy? Make it something else, you know?
Mm-hmm,
so it was just one of those things of like, you know what? We're just gonna. It wasn't a troll thing. It was just like we all came into an agreement of just like, let's just fucking do the objective. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
And the other people on the opposite team didn't fucking like that, and so because for one, we were wiping them off the fucking map.
Get good, kid.
Just sweeping them, and all of a sudden I die randomly because apparently I get pulled to the side. It was like, who the hell do you think you are? And I was like, I'm sorry?
Like,
I don't know what was going on. It's like, Mom? Who the hell do you think you are? I was like, I think I'm a person. I don't know what's going on. And they're over there just like, see, he just doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a troll and all that. And they're trying to like berate me and all that. I was like, guys, it's a search and destroy shit. I just had the little thing you had, but it's like, it just got boring after a while. We wanted to do the objective. If that's such a bad thing, you could kiss my fat ass. And I left.
You're like, bye-bye.
It was just so fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
I think the most toxic communities I've been in definitely were Call of Duty. Like, the amount of toxicity is insane.
God.
Like, just being in public lobbies and stuff like that was always jarring because there's always a racial slur going around. There's always a baby screaming in the background.
And the occasional cheep from the fucking smoke detector.
Oh my God, yeah.
You're one of those people. Fuck you. Change your fucking smoke detector batteries.
Just the amount of like disrespect in the games just always drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Like these cocky little assholes who the only thing they do all day is play Call of Duty and get their asses kicked, but can never play anything else because if they did, then they'd get their ass kicked and then their fucking ego would be destroyed.
Yeah, like even then it would just be even with more specifically, I guess, with Call of Duty. It's like even you got your ass handed to you, but you're over there just still making excuses for yourself and then making it worse for yourself.
Yeah, you have the flip of the two, right? You have the egotistical douchebag who's just like, I got 30 kills and I died twice. Or the dude who like has 2 kills, has died 20 times, and is like, my team fucking sucks. Why aren't you guys good? Yeah. Do what you gotta do. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
and then once you put the motherfuckers like, I got 30 kills and 2 deaths, like, come at me, bro. It's like, and once you put them in their place,
dude, the worst, and this happens on League all the time, is when you're playing a fucking team game.
Yeah.
Right? 5v5, 10v10, whatever the fuck you're playing, right? Mm-hmm. Team-based game. And some asshole's like, hey, bro, 1v1 me. Come on, bro. 1v1 me. I'll show you how good I am. 1v1 me, bro. Come on. What, you a little bitch? You a little chicken? Come on, bro. 1v1 me. It's like, what the fuck is your problem?
Like, me, yes, your negativity fuels my satisfaction.
It's so like, I don't get it.
It's just they want to make themselves all high and mighty, but as soon as you find a one fucking flaw in their like little thing, it's just like, well, you could just do this, or just like, just something nonchalantly. You want to fucking go? fucking take you out right now. It's just like, bro, you're the one hyping yourself up here. I'm just telling you like what's wrong with it or how you could change it. And you're just like, nah. Now I'm going to show you how much of a man I am. It's like, you're showing me how much of a little shit you are.
It's so weird because like, you know, like our generation, I'm a pretty sensitive dude. Like just in general, like I am a very emotionally sensitive person. But I don't take shit like that to heart. Yeah. Like I don't overreact to someone trying to belittle me. Yeah. And I feel like that's the way a lot of our generation is, that like you will call them out on something and then they get hyper defensive about it. Whereas opposed to a lot of the discussions I try to have is if you try to tell me that I'm wrong, I'll try to counter with like facts and details as to why I voice my opinion. And I feel like a lot of our generation doesn't do that. They just immediately go to the reaction and just like, well, your mom's a hoe. It's like, that had nothing to do with
granted, there's times where I like will do the same thing. I'm just reacting depending on just like how I get swept up, I guess. But there's also just times where I like to make it more fun, at least for me, when it's just like, oh, you fucking suck, you're a fucking idiot. I'm always just like, yes, please degrade me more. I need this.
Well, what's interesting is I also feel like that was a defense mechanism most of us had, where it was like, oh yeah, if you tell the bully that they're right, they have nothing else to go off of. Like, if you continue going down their road of being like, you're a little bitch, and be like, yes, I am a little bitch. What are you going to do about it? Like, they don't really have anything else to go off of.
Yeah, or like when they think like you're somewhat getting into it, then they start bringing out like the other like homophobia and all this other stuff. Oh my God. It is so... I
mean, granted, I will say like nowadays it's not as bad. Yeah, but definitely bad. Like gaming in the mid 2000s, the amount of homophobia was insane. Yeah. Insane.
Now it's just if with anything that I've tried to do with, it's like one of the things is like, hey man, you looking kind of cute. It's just like, don't come in with that shit. Thank you. You know, there's stuff like that. I mean, it's just like, they're like, fuck you, but that feels nice kind of thing. Or just like, you know, or they want to do the whole back and forth. It's like, oh yeah. And what about this? And you just like, you know, 9 times out of 10, you could hear their fucking girlfriend in the back or whatever, right? Yeah. And they're talking dirty to you, and it's funny as shit, but it just shows like how somewhat we've grown as a community.
I will say the online gaming community, it will always have toxicity to it, but I do think it is at a better spot now than it was in the past. Like, you're always going to have really bad shit talkers, but like, so like going on League yesterday, right? I was looking back. I started playing League back in like 2011 because there's like a legacy thing that you can look at. Yeah. So I was just thinking back and I'm like, wow, like the dialogue that you would normally have with people back then, vastly different than you would now. Because I was in games and I was just like, hey guys, want to have a fun game? You know, good luck.
Good luck, have fun.
Yeah. Good luck, have fun. Right. That's the whole shebang. And there were people who would be like, yeah, you know, we're gonna have a good time. And I'm like, that would never have happened like 6 years ago.
Yeah, no, you put in good luck, have fun, that, you know, GLHF, they'd be like, fuck you. It's like, shut up. Or it's like, fucking noob.
Yeah. What? And like, so there was a couple of games where like, because personally, I like just trying to be a positive energy in a game or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like, there was a game where the other person was just like, thank you, I needed that. Like, I appreciate you. And then like me and the same guy was like up on the top lane. And we were just inadvertently not hitting each other. Mm-hmm. And so like the first 3 minutes I was like, Riven, you're the best, like I love you. And like they replied with, I love you too. And I'm like, all right, see, this is a connection that I cannot fuck up. And then it was maybe like 10 minutes in, we didn't hit each other at all. And then I was like, baby girl, like I'm sorry, like my team needs me. And he replied, he's just like, I completely understand. This will be a moment I cherish for the rest of my life. And I'm like, those interactions are fun because like you understand that the person on the other end is just trying to have a good time. Whereas opposed, you'll have games where like someone will just
you're a bundle of sticks.
Yeah, just mad shit talk.
Yeah.
It's rough. But those, like, and that's why it's like it's so weird because now jumping back into this thing, people are much like lighthearted than they were before. So, you know, it's baby steps. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But
that's great.
Yeah. Yep. It is what it is. But we're coming up on time for today. So do you have any recommendations for people to watch?
Peninsula.
What's that about?
It's basically it's a sequel to Train to Busan.
Oh yes, I wanted to watch that.
It's actually really fucking great.
Where did you watch it at?
I watched it off of a notable site that I
Never
paid
mind.
for.
I got it. Yep.
But
like a good person.
Like a good person. No, but I watched it, and it apparently takes place 4 years after the Train to Busan incident. So like,
so does the little girl play any role?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because
so it's not a continuation of that story, but it's just a continuation of the infection overall.
Yeah, to my knowledge, yes. Because apparently how it just starts off is like, so they left some money in a truck. I got a plan. And he's like, you're going to go get it at night. You're going to bring it here, and we can take you back, because it became a thing of like, they stopped taking refugees, and so they had to keep everyone there with the infection. So this guy was like, you bring me the money, I can take you to get freedom. You'll no longer be around these things anymore. And it just fucking sucks.
Just chaos ensues.
There's like one scene where like someone gets captured. They get spray painted a number, and they have to withstand 2 minutes in like a cage with like these things coming at them. I was like,
holy
my
crap.
God. Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely have to check that out. If you guys haven't checked out Train to Busan yet, definitely watch that, because that is one of the... I am so sick and tired of like zombie movies.
That was good.
But this was a fantastic film. I think it was shot well. The characters are characters.
Yeah.
You have your good characters and bad characters.
My boy.
Dude.
They did him dirty.
Dude.
They did him dirty.
You talking about the dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big motherfucker.
Yeah. No, I was the same way.
They did him dirty.
I was like, you bastards.
They did him dirty.
You guys will understand what we're talking about. But make sure to go check out Train to Busan and what it was, Peninsula? Go check those two out. And then my recommendation is actually going to be The Last Emperor. If you have HBO Max, it is currently available. It is the story of the last emperor of the imperial ruler of China. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Oh God!
But it is a fantastic movie. It was shot in the 80s, I believe. But it is a phenomenal film that I highly recommend. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the podcast. Make sure to go to Bluhdhaven.com to check out our latest videos of Villainous, as well as new board games that will be coming out relatively soon. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that good jazz. And we'll see you guys next week for a new episode. See ya.